Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV, and the Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news show.
If you have a news topic or tips you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Wednesday at noon and is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired on Saturday at noon, 3 and 6. Today is August 23rd, 2017, and now the news at noon.
According to the Cortez Journal, a woman was transported Tuesday evening to Southwest Memorial Hospital after a collision at North Broadway and Lebanon Road. A crew from the Cortez Fire Protection District removed the driver's door to free the woman, whose car was apparently T-boned by a northbound vehicle about 6 p.m. as she entered the highway from Lebanon Road. Officers from the Cortez Police Department arrived within a few minutes of the crash, along with fire crews and the Southwest Health System ambulance, according to early radio communications. The condition of the car's driver was not released, but she was sitting up as ambulance crews took her away.
From the Cortez Journal report, Western Excelsior Corp will begin demolishing its Mancos plant in September, company president Zack Snyder confirmed on Monday. The plant, located on 901 Grand Avenue, was destroyed in a fire on May 8th, and its ruins have remained largely untouched since then. Snyder said demolition will begin within the next 2 weeks, but he doesn't know when the plant will be rebuilt. The Mancos Western Excelsior facility was the second largest in the country and employed about 100 people from all over the Four Corners region. Snyder said his company's main obstacle in rebuilding has been figuring out the cost and how much its insurance will cover. He said he's been playing phone tag and email tag with insurance company representatives for several weeks. But he and the rest of the company's leadership are highly motivated to reopen the plant. The sooner we can get it running again, the better, he said. It's had a huge impact on our production. Western Excelsior has set up a temporary production facility in Mancos in one of the buildings unaffected by the fire. Employees there are still producing straw wattles, which are used in the company's sediment control products. The plant also started selling firewood again the week of August 14th, Snyder said. But the facility is still far from operating at its former capacity, and most of its employees have not returned. Snyder said he planned to visit Mancos the first week of October to meet with plant managers and discuss plans for the future. By then, he said, he hopes to have a strategy for rebuilding the facility.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a loaded firearm was found at the security checkpoint on Sunday at the Durango-La Plata County Airport, according to the Transportation Security Administration. The TSA said in a news release Tuesday that a .38 caliber Ruger LCP, a small semi-auto pistol, was detected by an X-ray screening checkpoint on Sunday morning. The La Plata County Sheriff's Office took possession of the weapon and interviewed the passenger, who was allowed to continue on their flight. TSA said possible criminal charges would be determined by the Sheriff's Office. Sergeant Nate Harris said the individual was cleared and there were no charges. It was one of those situations where you should know better in this day and age, but some people forget what's in their bags, Harris said. It happens a lot at our airport, unfortunately. TSA said this is the third firearm found at the Durango-La Plata County Airport this year. In 2016, 4 firearms were found during airport screening procedures. TSA can fine a passenger up to $11,000 for bringing a firearm to a checkpoint, but the agency said the average penalty is $3,000 for a loaded firearm and $1,500 for an unloaded firearm.
Reported in High Country News and the Journal, white oil, oro blanco, extraterrestrial gold, lithium, the lightweight element key to rechargeable batteries, has recently acquired a slew of hyperbolic nicknames. As the demand for electric cars, laptops, and smartphones has surged, the search is on for more domestic sources of this energy-critical element. There's only one active lithium mine in the U.S., in Nevada's Clayton Valley, but several corporations have recently staked lithium claims in the Paradox Basin, a geological province spanning much of southeastern Utah and part of southwest Colorado. Based on decades-old oil and gas well data, they're rolling the dice on a classic mining gamble. What will the geology hold? Will historic numbers prove out? Even if they discover a high enough grade of lithium to be worth pursuing, a myriad of other challenges face companies trying to extract it and bring it to market. With demand growing at a fast clip, driving the price of lithium from $4,000 per ton in 2014 to $20,000 now, a corporation that finds high-grade lithium and develops an efficient extraction process just might feel like it has hit gold. A handful of companies are hoping for a big strike in the sprawling sagebrush desert outside of Moab and northwest of Dove Creek. Lithium is found in both hard rock deposits and in salty brines. Right now, it's mainly mined in what's known as the Lithium Triangle, where Argentina, Chile, and Bolivia meet, as well as in China and Australia. The economic and national security risks associated with foreign mineral dependence have pushed the pursuit of domestic sources of energy-critical elements like lithium. Over the past few years, at least 8 different corporations have staked close to 200,000 acres of lithium claims in the Paradox Basin. Notably, none of the usual heavy hitters of the lithium industry, Albemarle, FMC, and SQM, have moved in. Staking has been concentrated in 2 areas of the basin near Moab: the Big Flat, Long Canyon area, about 20 miles west, and Lisbon Valley, about 40 miles south. In the Paradox Basin, which includes part of Montezuma, Dolores, San Miguel, and Montrose counties, corporations including Liberty One Lithium, Scientific Metals, and U.S. Cobalt generally tout a range of from 81 to 1,700 parts per million of lithium found in historic wells in the region. That's 1,700, a grade that would rival the world's most concentrated known sources. It frequently appears in the company's marketing materials and played a key role in sparking the rush to stake claims there. But it's an outlier, and it may just be plain wrong. Lack of data may hinder the real amounts available as resources. Even if there does prove to be a high enough concentration of lithium in brines in the Paradox Basin to be worth extracting, there will be further hurdles. The biggest is developing an extraction process efficient enough and inexpensive enough to make production there feasible. Evaporation takes more than a year and a half, and the sprawl of the pools across hundreds of acres makes for a sizable impact on the environment. Some of the corporations in the Paradox Basin are working to develop ways to bypass the slow solar evaporation process. MGX Minerals, the company with the largest holdings in the basin, is scaling up a new process to separate lithium from petroleum brine, the wastewater that results from oil and gas mining. This method could reduce evaporation time to less than a day. Voltaic is also testing new processes. These are still early days for lithium in the Paradox. Until sampling begins, no one will know for sure what the brines hold. But as long as there's a demand for more lithium to fuel the portable devices that we rely upon, lithium projects will likely continue to pop up wherever there's a hint of possibility, regardless of their feasibility.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, above-average snowpack last winter triggered a rarely seen extended whitewater release on the Dolores River below McPhee Dam that lasted 85 days. An estimated 24,000 boaters flocked to the 200 miles of river between March 29th and mid-June, according to the Tres Rios office of the Bureau of Land Management. Recreation planner Jeff Christensen, along with boater groups, reservoir managers, and ecologists, gave a breakdown of the epic Dolores River season below the dam to an audience of 50 river users at the Dolores Community Center on August 16th. There were some challenging moments, though, as water managers working closely with boaters and ecologists grappled with how to release the massive amount of runoff for maximum boating and environmental benefits. For weeks, releases mostly ran between 800 and 1,500 cubic feet per second, a respectable flow for most boaters and close to a natural spring hydrograph. But for about 10 days, the river ran at a thrilling 2,000 CFS level, only to be outdone by the first ever 4,000 CFS release for 3 days in mid-May. The spike was designed to scour the river channel, which had filled in with silt after a drought from 2011 to 2015 produced no whitewater releases. One criticism heard from boaters is that the boatable flows stopped before the Memorial Day weekend, only to start up again in June. It was explained that after the high flows, the reservoir level was knocked down quite a bit, and managers erring on the side of caution decided to close the dam and let the lake fill, then manage the remaining runoff in June. Because of the difficulty of predicting late-season snowpack and runoff volume, June flows below the dam were up and down as inflow into the reservoir fluctuated sometimes day to day depending on the weather. A tough challenge is figuring out a way to even out multiple spikes of late-season releases to give boaters more predictability for trips. And now, let's take a look at the weather.
The low-pressure system is stagnating across our region, bringing the continued pattern of heating up our temperatures during the day and then bringing clouds in for scattered storm systems with the potential of rain each afternoon. If you looked up locally this morning, you could observe the striping patterns of a large X to our north and southwest. Usually, observances noted with these conditions result in the creation of a high hazy sky, reducing temperatures somewhat, but likely yielding no actual rainfall. That is, unless the tropical storm or depression that was named Harvey in the Gulf Coast allows additional moisture to flow back upward from Texas and back around into our region. The Climate Prediction Center from NOAA shows our regional 6 to 10 day temperature outlook over the entire western U.S. will be expecting above normal temperatures, with the Rocky Mountains in Colorado acting as the dividing line to normal temps, while most of the rest of the country from the plains and Midwest to the East Coast will be gearing up for considerably lower than average temperatures over the next week or so. On the national scene, the current band of rain and thunderstorms stretches all the way from the upper Rockies down throughout Texas, across the southeast, and now is moving up the Atlantic coast. All of this moisture is occurring while a seasonal high pressure is holding late August dry heat throughout the center of the country. And I mentioned yesterday the weekend was looking to be dry and sunny. Nice late summer days to enjoy. Again, the temperature ranges are holding pretty steady at the lower 80s for the highs and the mid-50s for the lows. For today and Thursday, those afternoon potential brief storms may still be a threat, and the winds locally are still predicted to be less than 10 miles an hour. However, though the weekend and through the weekend and into the start of next week, that rising temperature trend may have us feeling 90-degree temperatures for one hopefully last blast of summer before Labor Day. And now, back to the news.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, Colorado's top prosecutor won't prosecute an elector who refused to vote for Hillary Clinton, even though state law required him to. Attorney General Cynthia Kaufman on Monday announced she won't charge elector Michael Baca. Baca was part of a group that gained national attention in December. The so-called Hamilton electors tried to convince electors who were pledged to vote for Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton to unite behind a consensus candidate to deny Trump the presidency. Clinton won Colorado, and judges found that state law required Baca to vote for her. Instead, he wrote in Ohio Governor John Kasich. He was ultimately replaced by an elector who voted for Clinton. Kaufman said she wants to focus on improving election laws rather than giving Baca a platform in a criminal trial.
From the Cannabis.co, Colorado's largest city is on the brink of licensing some of the nation's first legal marijuana clubs. But Denver's elaborate hurdles for potential weed-friendly coffee shops and gathering places may mean the city gets few takers for the new licenses. Denver voters approved Bring Your Own Pot clubs in a ballot measure that last year after city officials dragged their feet on calls to give legal pot smokers a place to use the drug. The city plans to start accepting applications by the end of the month. Jordan Person, head of Denver NORML, which advocates for pot-friendly public policy, suggests the comparison be made equally between available alcohol and marijuana in the society. But Denver's would-be social use clubs have faced one delay after another. First, the state liquor board prohibited pot use at any place with a liquor license, making bars and many restaurants off limits, and pot shops can't allow consumption on the premises. That left gathering places like coffee shops, art galleries, and yoga studios. Furthermore, would-be clubs must stay twice as far as liquor stores from schools and anywhere children congregate, including playgrounds and sports fields. City officials say the rules are as flexible as possible, given stiff resistance from some community groups and marijuana skeptics. The voter-approved club measure also says the club licenses are a pilot program, and neighborhood groups must agree to allow a club before it could open. Applying for a license costs $1,000. The licenses itself is $1,000 per year. Colorado's marijuana law neither allows nor denies pot clubs, leaving the state with a patchwork of local club rules. Some cities tolerate them, in others, clubs operate underground, with members arranging meetups using social media. State lawmakers earlier this year decided against a plan to regulate marijuana clubs statewide. Democratic Governor John Hickenlooper warned that passing the measure could invite a federal crackdown.
According to the Cortez Journal, Southwest Health System is opening a health clinic in Dolores. The group purchased the office building at 601 Central Avenue, formerly Mountain Stone, said Kenneth Boucher, Chief Ambulatory Services Officer for Southwest Health. The building is being remodeled to house exam rooms, reception area, and doctor's offices. Construction is expected to be completed this fall, and the plan is to provide services beginning in 2018, Boucher said. There are a lot of state and federal regulatory hoops to jump through to open a health clinic. The clinic will be staffed with a nurse practitioner or physician assistant with oversight by Southwest Memorial Hospital. Medical providers are being sought for the clinic with a plan for them to be stationed there rather than being rotated from existing hospital staff, Boucher said. The clinic will be open Monday through Friday and accepts insurance. The Dolores office will be the 11th health clinic in Montezuma County operated by Southwest Health, which also operates Southwest Memorial Hospital. There has not been a medical provider in Dolores since longtime physician Dr. Alan Scott Burnside retired in January after 23 years. Burnside was being investigated by the Colorado Medical Board for alleged improper practices regarding prescription drugs. He owned and operated the Dolores Medical Clinic for 23 years.
A mushroom and wine festival, as reported in the Cortez Journal. A badass mushroom walks into a bar. 10 minutes later, the bouncer heaves him out on the front door. "What's up, dude?" he pleads to the bouncer. "I'm just being a fungi." Oh, and how much fun you too can have, they say, if you can just scare up enough shiitake, boletes, and cremini mushrooms to create tarts and teaser appetizers and entrees to pair with your favorite wines. That's what a handful of Durango chefs did to entertain more than 100 fungophiles at Vectra Bank's 4th annual Mushroom and Wine Festival last Friday and Saturday at Purgatory Resort. The Wine and Mushroom Workshop featured culinary events, interactive learning, and an enticing foray into wild mushrooms in our corner of the world. The summer sellout event was equal parts wine and wilderness, seasoned with practical mushroom cooking tips, including how to dissect and recreate a pot of risotto starting with a mushroom-based stock. Later, during a cooking demonstration at Durango Mountain Institute's classroom, Chef Ryan Lau of the Orr House showed how to best prepare a porcini-type mushroom. More than 24 eager onlookers watched Lau painstakingly stir a pot of mushroom risotto, while Durango wine shop sommelier Leslie Ponce fielded questions and reflected upon the afternoon's 6 wine pairings. Ponce had selected the wines to pair with the food offered at Saturday afternoon's tasting. Aeolus Seasons Grill, the Orr House East by Southwest, and the Cypress Cafe joined Purgatory in offering a selection of 6 hearty small plate appetizers ranging from Gruyere and mushroom crostata to porcini mushroom risotto cakes topped with chanterelle salad. Tangy wild mushroom escabeche topped smoked trout, a reduction of wood ear, oyster, and lobster mushroom sauced a tenderloin, traditional elk tenderloin stroganoff. Arguably the biggest surprise of the day was dessert. Purgy's bread pudding featuring Palisade peaches and chanterelles served with sriracha whipped cream. What grows together goes together, Ponce said, offering practical wine and food pairing advice to the crowd. The romance between mushrooms and wine looks promising as increasing numbers of foragers and home cooks appreciate the natural bond between the two.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of August 14th through the 20th. A Cajon resident reported a pony at large near M4 and M.4 and 15. Deputies were notified. The resident called back a couple days later to state that the pony was located. A town resident reported an item missing from their front yard. This incident is under investigation. A town resident reported a skunk under their porch. Animal control was notified. A county resident reported the theft of a sandrail from their property. A deputy responded and the case is under investigation. Reports were received in dispatch that the water dock was not working. The town manager was notified. While on Forest Service patrol, an officer came across cows loose in the roadway. The officer assisted in moving the cows off the road but was unable to locate an entrance back into their pasture. A Cortez resident reported to State Patrol Dispatch that his son, who was camping in the Cajon area, was overdue. A deputy had already made contact with the overdue subject and returned to advise the young man to go home per his father's request. A motorist reported a Ford pickup driving recklessly on Highway 491 in the area of Cross Canyon. Deputies were already busy on other calls and were not able to contact the vehicle. That concludes this week's roundup. Stay tuned for continued updates next week.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings. Coming up September 21st at the Sunflower Theater in Cortez, 2 world music instrumental virtuosos joined together for a historic tour when South African kora guitarist Derek Gripper and Indian slide guitarist Debashish Bhattacharya make their North American touring debut in the fall of 2017. Each has redefined the styles of music possible on their instruments, inventing new playing techniques and composing new works which bring out the full array of their talents. Tickets are $22 online or $25 at the door. Doors open at 6:15 and the show starts at 7. Saturday, September 9th, the 19th Annual Harvest Beer Festival benefiting the Montezuma Land Conservancy for local people conserving local land. It's held from 4 to 9 p.m. at Parque de Vida in Cortez. The Lindells and the Afro Beatniks will be performing live music during the event. And if you're not going to the DC Rat Rods National Car Show this Saturday at the state line starting at 9 till 4, then maybe road trip it up to Nukla, where Sukla is hosting an estate auction. It starts at 10 a.m. All of the happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us, dcbnnews@gmail.com, or call the station at 677-4119, and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs live at noon Monday through Wednesday and then rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 3, and 6.
Be sure to check out our Facebook page. It's DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.